Hello, my name is James. Thanks for joining me again as we carry on with this concerned review of the Physics of Heaven. The book was published in 2012 by Bethel Church. It was co-authored by Judy Franklin and Ellyn with contributions from Bill Johnson and others. We're going to be looking at Chapter 1, which is called The Power of the Zero-Point Field. Let's take a look at the content. Franklin writes about how she's grappled with Jesus' promise that we will do greater works than him, and with what she calls the contradiction that no Christian ever has. She describes what she calls a word from God, saying that he would release a sound from heaven that would transform the way that we think, and that would enable us to fulfill what she calls our mandate of bringing heaven to earth. In doing this, she says that we will, quote, finally become the children of God that creation has eagerly been awaiting, end quote. So enter zero-point energy. Franklin states that in the universe, the sum total of vibrations between frequencies is enormous, and that this energy is called the zero-point field, so called because it represents the lowest possible state of energy. Basically, she asserts that we should be astounded by the fact that so much energy is present within everything, and further that God wanted us to wield this incredible power. She says that we lost this power at sin, when sin entered into the world, and that Jesus has redeemed everything, so now all we have to do is learn how to access this power. This, she says, is going to unleash doing greater works than Jesus, due to the power that undergirds the entire universe. So shifting to the spiritual assertions and the use of the Bible in this chapter, Franklin draws on Romans 8, verses 11 through 22, and asks the question, what exactly does Paul mean when he says that all of creation is held back, longing and waiting, groaning and travailing until the children of God are revealed? Hadn't the children of God already been revealed by the time that Paul wrote this letter to the Romans? She goes on to describe her hunt for the so-called hidden meaning of this verse, which appears to have taken her immediately outside the Bible, studying about sound, vibrations, and frequencies, and even reading a book by Ted Dekker. With these sources to lead her, it's easy to see how the meaning of Romans 8 would elude her. She also gives voice to the general dissatisfaction with the present work of the Holy Spirit that can be found in other places throughout this book. She says, quote, although we are extremely happy and grateful for the power that we have operated in no way has it reached the measure of what he intends for us. Jesus said that we would do greater works than he did, but no Christian in history has ever exceeded Jesus' works. This is a frequent go-to concept, I think, for people who feel this way, but we need to ask the question, what exactly did Jesus mean? Did he mean more astonishing works, or more mind-blowing or eye-popping works? Or did he mean more quantitatively? Because the Greek word meizona can actually have both senses. If Jesus meant that we are to do more qualitatively than him, what left really is there to do? He has already turned water into wine, he's walked on water, he's raised the dead, and of course, he created the entire universe. What more is there for us to do that would be more astonishing than that? But if Jesus meant that all believers are to carry on the work of Jesus now that he has gone to be with the Father, it will very quickly be the case that we do more than him quantitatively. Now, where my mind goes even as I say that is, sure, but wasn't Jesus talking about miracles and not just works? Well, let's look at the verses in context. Jesus says to his disciples, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father. The words that I say are not my own, but are from my Father who is doing his work. He says that everything he has ever done is the work of his Father who lives in him. So this is not a discussion about miracles per se. This is a discussion about Jesus' entire life on earth, from conception to death, from resurrection to ascension, from first coming to second coming. So as believers in him, Jesus is saying that we will continue in his work as we abide in him. So Franklin has no need to worry about doing more spectacular miracles than Jesus. If she had understood this point, then she wouldn't need to chase after fabulous displays of power, and this book would not exist. So looking at the editorial big picture behind where this chapter fits into the rest of the book, like many of the chapters of this book, Franklin supplies the readers with an abundance of information that is meant to convey a sense of wonder and, of course, an eagerness to know more. The text is peppered with terms like ultraviolet light, X-rays, gamma rays, and, of course, zero-point field, which are not only meant to convey a type of scientific credibility to the ideas of the book, but also a sense of hopefulness that quantum mysticism might really hold the keys to unlocking the greater works that Jesus was talking about. Thank you for sticking with me, and I hope you will carry on as we continue through this concerned review of Physics of Heaven. Thank you, and see you next time.